What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? First, I just want to thank y'all for the birthday wishes that y'all gave me yesterday. Like I said in my post, it's much needed in a time like this where people could feel a little bit isolated and off to themselves because of the virus that's going around, COVID-19. So I appreciate it. But on the most serious note, I'm making this video because it's time that I say something that I've been doing for a while, but the Lord put something on my heart just now, and I feel like, he don't give me stuff just to sit on it and just for me to know it, but to share it with people because people need to hear it. So I'm gonna try to make this video as quick as possible because I don't know how much time I got on my phone because I'm not going live, so I don't want to run out and keep doing it over. So I'm gonna try to just run through this real quick, but this is very urgent and it's very important. Now, back in 2010, the Lord gave me a vision. It was in a dream, and in the dream, it was a city in complete chaos and turmoil and panic, fire trucks everywhere, people crying, babies crying, and I was standing in the doorway watching all of this. And I heard a voice scream out loud in the background that said San Francisco. And so when I awoke from that vision or that dream, at first I thought that the Lord was telling me that like it was gonna be a natural disaster, something happened in San Francisco. Because keep in mind at this time I hadn't been saved not even a year. But the Lord always be dealing with me in dreams and stuff like that. And sometimes I can even interpret dreams. Sometimes I don't want to interpret the dream because I don't know what it might end up saying. But I know that if I really wanted to, I can interpret the dream. But so when I woke, I thought that the Lord was telling me that it was gonna be a natural disaster or something in San Francisco. But it took me a year later to realize that what the Lord was saying was that He's judging San Francisco, and why they're getting judged mainly for their homosexuality. And now this is not a message, you know, not no hate message or nothing like that against people who are homosexual. But what I'm saying is that God showed me that vision to tell people and warn them that if He judged Sodom and Gomorrah for it, what makes you think that He won't judge other places for it? And the same way how He judged Sodom and Gomorrah. Now I don't know if it's gonna come to total end like Sodom and Gomorrah, but He let me know that He's gonna judge San Francisco for that what's going on there. And shortly after that, He gave me another vision, and it was winter outside, and I heard that same voice shout. And I dare I say it was an angel because I know it was an angel that shouted it both times. And I heard that same voice shout out and say, nuclear winter. And keep in mind, I'm standing like in the middle of a street, and it's snow outside. And I excuse me, and I hear a voice shout out, nuclear winter. Now, if anybody know what nuclear winter is, that's one of the results of a nuclear bomb going off. Now, these two prophecies that the Lord gave me, visions, He didn't give me a time or a day. He just showed me the events. And on one of them, He gave me the place, which was San Francisco, who He's going to judge. And the other place, He didn't give me the name of the place. He just said nuclear winter. But I assumed that He was showing me this, that it was going to be somewhere in the United States. Then shortly after that, I had another vision. But this time, it was like in the summertime of spring. And again, I was standing in the doorway, and it was a nuclear bomb went off. And I woke up. Like I looked down the street and there was a nuclear bomb went off. And I woke up. And this time I didn't hear any words say nuclear anything or the name of the city, but I'm pretty sure, put it like this. From a scale from 1 to 10, I give it about an 80% chance, or 8, that this city was New York City. I'm not from New York. I never been there a day in my life. But just by being a human being and watching TV and being observant, I'm pretty sure the way that the scenery was that it was New York or some East Coast city where a nuclear bomb went off. And I'm telling you, and this was all the way in 2010 when He was giving me these visions and these dreams. And so the reason why I'm bringing this up now is because of the times we're living in and what the Lord just gave me probably just 30 minutes ago. Now I'm reading the book of Matthew, just trying to study the Bible, and I'm reading the book of Matthew. And while I'm reading the book of Matthew, now I first heard this in the back of my mind at work, Habakkuk. Now the book of Habakkuk is in the Old Testament. So when I got home, I'm reading the book of Matthew, and I'm trying to hurry up before the camera stopped, recorder stopped. But when I got home, I'm reading the book of Matthew, and I heard it again, Habakkuk. Read the book of Habakkuk in the Old Testament. Habakkuk was a prophet in the Old Testament toward the end of the Old Testament. So I'm reading the book of Habakkuk, which is very short. It's nothing but 3 chapters. And my heart sank. And my heart sank because you read the book of Habakkuk, it's about how Habakkuk is complaining about how the wicked is pretty much just doing what they ever want to do to the righteous. And the prophet Habakkuk, the godly prophet Habakkuk, he tired of it, and he basically complaining to God, like, God, why is you sitting back doing nothing, just allowing this to happen? And at that time, and then Habakkuk was also praying to, like, Lord, save Judah from his own wickedness. And so the Lord answered the prophet Habakkuk, but what the Lord answered was that basically telling Habakkuk, I'm already on it. Like, I'm already on it. If I'm about to share with you what I'm doing, he told him I'm raising up the Babylonians, which was another nation. And the Lord was saying basically I'm raising up the Babylonians to come deal with the judgment that I put on Judah, which was a wicked and corrupt nation. Even though Judah and Israel was God's people, Judah had went to corruption and they was wicked. And the wicked in the land was pretty much destroying the righteous people and doing them any kind of way. And Habakkuk had enough of it and came to God. But God told him, I already see it and I'm already devising a plan to deal with it. And God's judgment on that nation of Judah was he was raising up an army in the Babylonians, which he said is a people who, he said, their strength is their own God. He was talking about how their horses is quicker, how they mightier, how they stronger, how they basically, they live on violence. They that's how they thrive, on violence. And he was like, their army is so strong that, they like to win. They come and sweep something up, then they move on to the next thing to conquer or destroy. And that's who he was going to send to put a judgment on Judah. But he was going to also deal with the Babylonians themselves because of their evil and they corrupt and they wickedness too. But he was going to deal with them after he used them to deal with Judah. And I know some of y'all may say, well, I'm a Judah. He talking about the Old Testament, the prophets in Habakkuk, and I don't. Make a long story short, the reason why my heart sank was because the reason why the Lord kept, and then reason why the Lord kept sending me to Habakkuk was because he gave me the privilege again of letting me know, like, the wickedness that's in this country. I already see it. I already see what's going on. I'm already ahead of it, but I'm letting you know, and you need to warn the people that I'm raising up something. I'm raising up an army that's finna deal with the United States of America. And now, if you don't want to hit, well, I ain't gonna say that. Now, my guess is it's either the Russians, the Chinese, or somebody in the Middle East in the future that God raising up to deal with this country. And I think that also has to do with the visions he gave me about the nuclear bombs going off in this country, which means it's probably going to be a World War III kicking off pretty soon. And God didn't have to share that with me, but my heart sank. And then, like, one of the verses, I think in the first chapter, talks about how when Habakkuk saw the glory of God, one of the things that stood out to me, he said that his splendor was like the sunshine, and the power that was in his hand had rays, like, I guess, sun rays flashing out of God's hands. And he said that plague walked before him and pestilence followed his footsteps. What's going on right now? Pestilence and plague, that's COVID-19 going. I ain't saying that's the only one, but COVID-19 is out here now. And that's what caught my eye too, because he says plague walks before him and pestilence follows his footsteps. That's what we dealing with right now. It's plague and pestilence, which is COVID-19. So God is saying, look, you already in the first version of this. It's the plague and the pestilence. For all this wickedness that's going on in the land, more than likely the next wave is finna be, I'm finna send the Babylonians. It's finna be World War III. I'm finna deal with all this wickedness that's going on. And then also, there were references to Habakkuk saying how God was raging against the sea and how he was churning up the waters with his chariots and drawing all his bows. Now, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but I honestly believe, because I have plenty of dreams about it, that even before God allowed the judgment to come on this land in the second wave with the Babylonians, which might be the Russians, the Asians, the Chinese, or somebody from the Middle East, God also been giving me visions of tsunamis. Now, I don't know if it's for this country or any other country, but I do believe that there will be a mega tsunami somewhere soon because judgment is on the earth. So I don't know if that was Habakkuk was referring to or if he was just being poetic about that part, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's what he was talking about because it said the deep of this ocean, basically the deep of the sea roared and lifted up its waves on high. That's a tsunami. That's not a hurricane, that's a tsunami. So I'm saying all this not to strike fear in people, but I'm saying all this to let people know God already showing you that he's real with this COVID-19. I never seen nothing like this in my life. And I just made 40 yesterday. I know people who 60 and 70 say they never saw nothing like this in their life. And I'm making this message because I'm begging people, I'm pleading with you. When I say get your life together, I'm talking about give it to Jesus Christ because that's the only safe place now. He gave you all them other years to play around and do what you're going to do. And there's a lot of people that played around and they didn't even make it to 2020. So I got to just thank God right now. If you living right now, just thank God right now you still even alive. Because God could have allowed you to be taken out years ago playing around and doing foolish things. But I'm making this video and my heart sank is because, and this even goes for me too, I can't just take life for granted and just think just because God giving me these visions that he's not looking at me to be the person he needs me to be. You know, I'm just trying to stay in his good graces and do right by God. But my heart sank is because there's so many people out here who still just don't get it, who still just can't see what's going on and it's right in front of their face. Time is running out and it's running out quick. You don't got time to play games no more. You need to make a decision. Just like Joshua said in the Old Testament. Choose whom you will, but as far as me and my household, we gonna serve the Lord. And I'm telling you, people don't got as much time as they think they got. They go for me, they go for my family, that go for everybody. And so I'm pleading with people, man, you need to turn your life over to Jesus. Tomorrow is not promised. The only way you're going to remotely have a chance to escape any of this is if you turn your life over to Jesus and trust him to save you. Because God is not playing. And he's trying to tell you he's not playing. And them first two visions he gave me them over 10 years ago. And I'm just not saying it. So that means I don't know the exact dates, but that means it's 10 years. It's even closer than what it was 10 years ago. It could happen any moment now. So you could believe me, you could not believe me. But I can tell you this, anybody who know me will tell you that I'm not crazy. And I'm not a liar by any means. Now everybody has told a lie, but I don't go around lying. I'm not that type of cat. So anybody that know me know I ain't just finna come up and just say something if I didn't in my heart and believe that it was true. Because I'm not that type of person. If I had an inkling of what I'm saying right now wasn't true, I would not be making this video. And anybody that know me know I don't lie like that. I don't play around like that with God. I don't play around with life like that. And I'm making this so y'all can stop playing around with life and realize what's headed y'all way. This COVID-19 is just the beginning. So this is my plea. I should have been spoke about some of this, but it's out now. Do with it what you will. God bless and good night.